All right, looks like Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet is going to be testifying in an upcoming UFO hearing in November. I've got all the details. Let's jump in. Now, looks like there's going to be two hearings. So in this video, we're going to be discussing those two hearings. And again, Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet testifying. And here's the statement Tim Gallaudet released online about the testimony coming up in November. Hard to believe my interview on the Sean Ryan Show now has 1 million views. I think it represents the surge of interest in UAP, previously UFO, since the 2017 story in the New York Times about the United States Department of Defense's UFO program. With my expertise in marine science and technology, I have focused on the observations of these phenomena in the ocean, otherwise known as unidentified submerged objects, USOs. Yesterday, I was invited to testify on UAP disclosure before the U.S. House of Representatives Committee on Oversight and Accountability in November. Not sure if Congress will pass the UAP Disclosure Act sponsored by Leader Schumer and Senator Rounds, but I will make a case for it based on the right of the American people to know that we are not alone and the national security implications of that astonishing reality. So, who is Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet? Well, he was the Navy's head oceanographer, and he has since come forward with his own experiences and stories. Here's a great clip from an interview he did on the Big Thing podcast with Christian Harloff. Check it out.
Well, I'm totally convinced that we're experiencing a non-human higher intelligence. By the way, there's non-human intelligence all around in the ocean, especially when you look at marine mammals like whales and all that. But this is non-human higher intelligence, and they, of course, are possessing craft, vehicles, whatever that can do things we can't explain. And with technology we can't explain, and with laws of physics that are not what we know them to be, obviously. So, and I am completely convinced because I know the people who were in the government programs, the legacy programs that oversaw both the crash retrieval and just the analysis of UAP data. So that I'm very confident in these people, former intelligence, former DoD, and we are working as a team behind the scenes to advance disclosure.
Now, that is a great interview with Tim Gallaudet, and he's also made other claims, right, that, again, I completely believe, because he's also the one that kind of discovered this Go Fast UFO video, right? So here's another clip of him talking on MSNBC about this experience, right? It's kind of shocking what you're about to hear, so pay attention.
And I actually started to speak out about this because I did see something when I was in the Navy, on the Navy secret network during a big exercise. I received a secret email from my boss, and it was addressed to myself and all the subordinate commanders who reported to my boss. So 20 flags, admirals, and senior executives. And the title of the email was Urgent Safety of Flight Issue. And attached to the email was the now very famous Go Fast video, the leaked UFO video from Navy F-18s. And he asked all of us on the line if we knew what it was, and if we did, tell him, because he was going to have to shut down the exercise. If not, because these craft were having near midair collisions multiple times with the Navy aircraft. I knew then and there it wasn't our technology. And then the next day, it was wiped from my computer, and no one ever talked about it. This major safety of flight issue. And I was also the chief meteorologist in the Navy, and safety of flight was my job. So I wasn't able to speak about it because I knew obviously it was compartmented in some special access program, and that's why when my boss sent it out, they wiped it all from everybody's computer. I'm coming out now to speak about this because this is a major safety concern. We're not able to understand and track what's in our airspace and water space.
So Tim Gallaudet isn't just anybody coming forward to testify, right? This is a good sign, and this is someone who has a lot of credibility and could help move the conversation forward. Now, it's not entirely a firsthand witness, but his claims and the stories that he has are very much relevant. So I look forward to that testimony in November. Now, let's get to kind of the two hearings that are happening, because there is a little bit of confusion, right? There's going to be a hearing coming up this September with Kirsten Gillibrand, and another one in November that will be led by Representative Nancy Mace. Now, this first one that's coming up in September, Ask-A-Poll broke the story. And if you haven't checked out Ask-A-Poll, please do. I'll put a link in the description so you can check it out. Matt Laszlo is the reporter who's on the scene in D.C. asking the UFO questions that we all want to know, so he could use your support. So this next clip is from Ask-A-Poll. All the credit goes to them. Again, link in the description. Go check it out. But this is Matt Laszlo asking Senator Kirsten Gillibrand about the UFO hearing coming up in September from AARO, okay? The Pentagon's current office to study UFOs. Check it out.
Are we gonna see a UAP hearing this month?
Yeah, I have that on schedule.
When is it scheduled?
It's in September, I'm pretty sure.
Interesting. Why is that a priority?
It's a priority for me because I think it's very important that we continue to make things publicly available, give a progress report on how many unidentified aerial phenomena we've assessed and analyzed, give examples of what we have identified, and give examples of what we haven't identified so that the community can be kept up to speed about what we're actually doing and what this office is doing. We also want to try to continue to build credibility within this office so more of the public can feed in sightings and have a place and a platform to send information and inquiries, because that's eventually what this office is supposed to do.
And this is gonna be with AARO, Timothy Phillips.
Yep, and we'll have there's a new head that's been identified. I don't know if it's been publicly named yet, but I'm hoping that the new head will be the one to testify.
I'll be watching.
Yes.
Good to see you. Have a good one, y'all.
Now, you may also be wondering, who is leading this, right? Who is this new head? Well, it's kind of already been revealed, but I haven't talked about it on the show. But this is the gentleman right here on the screen. And here's a press release from the Department of Defense announcing the new director of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, otherwise known as AARO. Today, Dr. John T. Kozlowski arrived on detail from the National Security Agency to be appointed as the director of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. Dr. Kozlowski brings extensive experience working in multiple scientific fields, including quantum optics and cryptomathematics, as well as leading mission-oriented research and analysis teams. So we look forward to this brand new hearing, right? And listening from the new head of AARO, which I kind of hear he's going to be better than the last one we had. Now, there is another hearing coming up, right? That Tim Gallaudet, right, that I spoke about earlier, coming up in November. And I believe it's going to be led by Representative Nancy Mace. At least that's the word on the street, and that's what's been announced. Now, again, this is Matt Laszlo from Ask-A-Poll talking to Representative Tim Burchett about that hearing and about Nancy Mace. Now, after this clip, I am going to play a clip for you of Nancy Mace so you can get an idea of who exactly she is and why she's important to the UFO topic. So stay tuned. But first, here's a clip, Matt Laszlo talking to Tim Burchett.
What we got?
So now that it's public, do you think you guys are going to be more effective going with Mace chairing than it would have been with Roth?
Yeah. I mean, they ain't
Why is
gonna.
that?
They're not gonna. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't need any more so, but I think Mace really has a grasp of the issue. She asked the tough questions the last time. She has a history with this, and she's known in the UAP UFO community, much like Luna is. They ask the tough questions, and I'm not afraid of a lady being chairman.
Yeah. And what are you guys as a caucus? Because time is running out on this Congress session.
Well, I don't know that.
I mean, get out of it. Or is it laying the groundwork?
It's laying the groundwork. Everything is laying the groundwork because nothing will happen until we get a president in the White House that says, we're going to get to the bottom of this thing.
Have you seen any signals of that from Trump, Vance, or Harris Walls?
Yeah, Trump's people are big for it right now.
Are they?
Well, because he said something about it. Harris hasn't said anything about it. I think it's just a missed opportunity. You don't have to do anything hardly. Just
Yeah.
I gotta get a video
Right.
of Rick before I leave. Don't leave, Rick.
Good.
You're good. You that all you need?
Well, so you think this is going to work?
Yeah, for
Next.
future things. And I think we'll get some good quality witnesses in, and I think too, more whistleblowers will come in because of this.
Yeah. Well, right now,
I think that would be excellent, and I think that'll lay the groundwork for the next president to do what's right with the issue.
because right now those whistleblowers have nowhere to go because they don't trust Arrow.
Hey, I wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw the dome off the Capitol.
Right. And you guys making this an actual issue, do you think the start of the next Congress, no matter who's in control, we're just going to see a different posture that this issue will be
I hope
taken?
so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I don't see why it wouldn't. We have laid the groundwork for it.
Yeah.
Good.
Broadly bipartisan. Good to see you. Have a good one.
All right, guys, we got 2 hearings coming up in the next few months. This is going to be exciting. Now, like I said before, let me play you a clip of Representative Nancy Mace and why she's so important to UAP hearings. Because you see, at the last one with David Grush, Commander David Fravor, and, oh my gosh, Ryan Graves, I'm so sorry. It happened. I'm going to leave that in. She asked what I believe were some of the best questions to David Grush about biologics. And again, this was the hearing from last year, July of 2023. So now they're going to be putting her in charge of this new UAP hearing. So here's a little taste of what Nancy Mace may be bringing to this brand new hearing coming in November.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
And was this documentary evidence, this video, photos, eyewitness? Like, how would that be determined?
The specific documentation I would have to talk to you in a skiff about.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and you may or may not be able to answer my last question, and maybe we get into a skiff at the next hearing that we have, but who in the government, either what agency, sub-agency, what contractors, who should be called into the next hearing about UAPs, either in a public setting or even in a private setting? And you probably can't name names, but what agencies or organizations, contractors, et cetera, do we need to call in to get these questions answered, whether it's about funding, what programs are happening, and what's out there?
I can give you a specific cooperative and hostile witness list of specific individuals that were in those.
And how soon can we get that list?
I'm happy to provide that to you after the hearing.
Super. Thank you. And I yield back.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for today's video. I hope you're as excited as me for these new UFO hearings coming up in the next couple months. We'll wait and see what happens. But yes, we do have people coming, and we do have people testifying. Let's see where this goes, y'all. All right. We'll see you on tomorrow's video. Remember, every day's a gift, y'all.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep.